All right, all right. Here we go. Episode, I guess it's 13 or 14 now, man. Hitting the road. I'm here with country artist Jake Banfield. Jake, you are crushing it right now, man.
What?
Jake's got a he's got a new single, Lasso, that last I checked, man, over 19 million streams. Does that sound about accurate?
Wow. That is
Um,
wild.
and dude, you got, just if anybody goes to check him out on Spotify, I mean, he's got some stuff that again, man, I mean, I think Jake, you're a diverse artist, man. I think that nothing, not one genre defines you, but man, happy to have you on. How you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, what an introduction. It's great to be here. I'm doing awesome.
Yeah,
The
man.
weather's nice. It's starting to fall into we're starting to get into the fall type vibe. It's still hot, but then you'll get the days, the mornings where it's feeling a little cool. Football's about to start. So I'm in great
Yeah.
spirits.
Yeah, man. So, well, dude, so okay, I talked to some artists here lately, and the funny thing about a lot of the artists that I talk to, man, they're from I say this, Podunk, USA. I mean, they're
Yep.
for, but I mean, you're from a little town in Oklahoma, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean that's not where you reside now, and we'll get into that. But tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about your upbringing and the map dot that you came from.
Yeah, man. So my first 14 years were in Eufaula, Oklahoma, which is in McIntosh County. But I went to a school, a K-8 school by the name of Stidham. And if you look on Google, the population is 19.
Oh
It
wow.
is a tiny little town. And that's where I went to school, but lived in Eufaula, which I loved. And then I moved to Manford, Oklahoma, which is west of Tulsa, also a small town. And so I call Eufaula and Stidham and Manford home. I moved quite a bit, but yeah. And then now I stay right outside of Tulsa, still close to Manford, but
Yeah.
it's all in the area of Tulsa, and so it's just home. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, man. Well, you know what's funny, and I've only watched like a couple episodes, dude, and I know it sounds funny, but like Tulsa Kings, have you seen any of that? I haven't,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
I mean, Sly's the man. I've only watched a couple episodes,
yeah.
but I mean, how crazy is that? That now you've got a show putting Tulsa on the map where I guess you're currently residing, you know?
Yeah, no, it's wild. It's really cool for the city too. Like you said, there's everyone that they don't know a lot about it or don't hear it. They get to kind of see it in a big way. So it's really
Yeah,
dope.
yeah, man. So when you kind of got started, I mean, I know that you were an athlete and all that kind of stuff, but musically, and we'll get into the athletic side of it. We'll get into the
Yeah,
the, the snatch and ankle side of it here,
yeah.
but like musically, man, I mean, did that come a little bit later, for you? I mean, it's teenage years, like when did that come along?
Yeah, so I grew up in the church. So I grew up, I would help lead singing like once a month whenever I was like 11, 12, as just to help it. So I knew that's where I found an interest in music and knew I could sing a little bit. And then, just hearing church hymns, everyone's feeling it. Music had a feeling. So from a young age, I had that, but it was never going to be a thing that I did. Like you said, I was in sports, and then really outside of college was whenever I really dug into the music. When we got into quarantine, I like really dove into it and
Yeah,
really like started hearing things that were piquing my interest. But I grew up on a lot of different types of music. Shout out to my parents, like a lot.
yeah,
And that's kind of where my inspiration came from whenever I started making music.
yeah. What did you grow up on?
Yeah, so it started with like 80s hair bands. My
Okay.
my Def Leppard and Motley Crue and all
Yeah,
the I was really
yeah,
big on that. And then 90s and 2000s R&B and B and hip hop, so like the Biggies and the Pacs and all that and
yeah.
Eminem, and that was always big. And then in the 2000s when I really started, I mean I was born in 2000, but country music was really big then, especially being from Oklahoma. That's when I started getting put on to Garth Brooks and Blake Shelton and Toby Keith. Carrie Underwood was the
Yeah,
first song
yeah,
I ever remember hearing on the radio.
sure.
And she's from McIntosh County, Shakota, same county as me. So I remember being like, as a young kid, being like, oh, she can do it. She's from
Yeah,
the same place I'm from,
yeah,
or right by it. So that was kind of what I listened to. And then, yeah. And then whenever it got into like my high school years, it was a lot of country music that was blending. That was the time when like the bro country was coming
sure.
along with
Yeah,
Florida Georgia Line and Sam Hunt. And I know a lot of people didn't love it, but I loved it. I grew up listening to a lot of different things, so
yeah,
that kind of piqued my interest because there was like pop melodies over country
yeah.
beats and 808s and country lyrics. It was just awesome. So I was all in for that.
Yeah, man. You mentioned Def Leppard. I can remember, man, there was a time we'd be driving to church on Sundays
Yeah.
and I'd be in the back seat and my mom's like, "What are you listening to?" And man, and I couldn't tell her that I was listening to Def Leppard, but dude, I mean, dude, the way that those records were produced, man, I mean like the just so good, man. And I think
Incredible.
yeah, yeah, love that, man. And so I know you mentioned like Carrie Underwood and
Yeah.
there's a lot of good music coming out of Oklahoma. Dude, so was Jesus was Jesus Take the Wheel the national anthem for Oklahoma? Like was it when it came out, was everybody just like, around like this is she's our people kind of thing?
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. And I think I was 6 years old, 6 or 7. And like it just caught my ear. And then I remember obviously being in the same county, you couldn't get away from it. It was on the radio. I feel like they played it every hour and you
Yeah,
couldn't escape it. But it was a great song. So
yeah,
it was just it was a big moment. And that was like at the start of her career. And then to see what she's doing now, it's
yeah,
very possible for anyone from Oklahoma to make it out, and that's been proven. But it was just cool since she was so close to me, and like my hometown. I was like, oh, this is
yeah.
pretty cool.
No
If she
doubt.
can do it, I can. Type thing.
Absolutely, man. I remember the first time I heard that song on the radio. I was with my best friend. He's a songwriter in town,
Yeah,
and I remember it was weird. We were parking the car somewhere, and he's pulling gear out of the back end of the car, and I remember that song comes on, and he just goes, "Oh my freaking gosh, dude!"
yeah,
Like it's game over.
yeah.
Like that it's such a good song, right?
So good.
And so anyway, but yeah, but you've got obviously the Blake Sheltons of the world and Toby Keith like you said, man, and these are people that have had a huge imprint, on country music, but like I mean as far as like the scene now, man, like what is that kind of looking like? I mean is it something that is unique to itself? Like how would you describe that Oklahoma kind of country music scene?
Yeah, no, it's actually very, very unique. I feel like it also, since we're so close to Texas, there's a lot of red dirt influence,
Yeah.
especially like in Stillwater,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
really cool. And so seeing that come up, and then the Zach Bryan's of the world, which is more like alternative singer songwriter, folkish type vibe. It's there, and then you have like there's a pop hip hop type influence. It's kind of a melting pot, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And that's what I've seen. I love it. I can go out to Tulsa whatever night and find a different type of music. I can hear some jazz this night, and then red dirt country this night,
Hmm.
and then something else. It's just really cool, and that's how I like to listen to music.
Sure.
So because I don't get bored, I can just keep it. Just piques my interest. So I would
Sure.
just say it's diverse. Yeah, it's really
Totally.
really nice.
Totally no, and I think that's I mean whether you're a music listener or somebody that is an artist like yourself, man. I think that uh, it doesn't have to be any one thing. I think sometimes we try to pigeonhole it and it but like you said, it can be any number of things that either catch you or inspire you, whatever it is.
Sure.
And I think sometimes, and I've said this before, but on a podcast, but it's like I think sometimes as a music listener, it's like we want to pigeonhole the artist and say, man. Like this is nothing like your last record. I like the last
Right.
one before this one, and this one's just okay. You switched it up, and I don't understand why you put
Yep.
track. So all that to say, man, like I know that before you kind of moved and gravitated towards Nashville, we talked a little bit about you were an athlete,
Yeah.
and so you played basketball, right? And so,
Yeah.
well, let me ask you this: number one, man, are you an OKC fan? You a Thunder fan?
Ooh, I am a massive Thunder fan. This has been
Okay,
one of, it was the best season of my life.
really, I'm sure, man, I'm
I went to
sure.
the parade after we won it.
Did you really?
Oh, I had a red eye. I literally I watched it in Nashville. I had a show somewhere in that area, not in Nashville. Couldn't go back home to Oklahoma City for to watch with my family. So watched it in Nashville. We win it. I caught a flight at like 5 a.m. to Oklahoma City, made it to the parade,
Yeah.
and it was incredible. It was hot and long, but it was so worth it.
Sure, sure, man. Well, I'm in a text thread with some guys, in town that we're all from Dallas, Fort Worth. We're Maverick
Yes.
fans, and and so like we comment on the finals, whatever it is. It's just like,
Yeah.
and there's a part of me I remembered, man, I was so um just as a Maverick fan that doesn't like the Thunder, like there was
Yeah.
I was like, is anybody else catching SGA just giving a forearm when he's pushing off and like he's driving
Yeah.
the lane and shoving and
Yeah.
but he's so stinking good, man, and like the team they've built, they've got every draft pick between now and 2065, um, you
Yeah,
know,
I do. No,
um,
it's been wild to see, man. Just, I knew we were going to be good. I didn't expect it to be this early.
right,
Uh, like to win it all.
I
Um,
agreed,
so the fact that we're bringing everybody back, uh, I guess where I'm at is there's no pressure anymore. We've
Yeah.
like dealt with
Yeah.
heartbreak my whole life since I've
Yeah.
been alive. I think OU won the national championship the year I don't even remember any of that. But since then, we've always gotten close in football. We lost whenever Baker and Jalen and all them,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray were there. And then in with the Thunder, we made it to the finals,
Yeah.
made it to the Western Conference Finals, could never get it done. So there's always been this pressure and always like this negative vibe in the back of
hmm
your head of like something will go wrong.
Yeah.
So the fact that that's done, I feel like I can die a happy man with my Thunder. To be honest with you, it feels
Yeah.
really nice.
I mean, you're playing with house money at this point, man. So it's like,
Right.
and that's the th back in the, because I'm really surprised back in the day when you guys, again, Kevin Durant, Westbrook, Harden, all of the same, same squad. And,
Heartbreaking.
and like, how does that get busted up? But it does,
Yeah.
so I can see where even as a Thunder fan, it's like, man, we had an embarrassment of riches,
Yes.
Hall of Famers,
Yes. And
and
that was in 13. So that was 12 years ago. So it's been
crazy.
12 years of embarrassed. Like they've been good, but it's embarrassing that
Yeah.
you have three MVPs and
Yeah.
you break them up. It always has been in the back of our heads, and
Sure.
it's always been like a thing.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can just finally get past that now
Yeah.
feels so good and
Yeah,
relieving. I
man.
can't even imagine for Sam Presti, the GM. I'm
Oh
sure
my
it's like
gosh.
incredible. Weight
That
off his
yeah.
shoulders.
He's playing chess, dude. Everybody else is
Yeah,
playing checkers.
exactly.
And but dude, so tell me a little bit, like I said, you were an athlete. Tell me a little bit about, kind of how you because I did watch your tape. I told you that. I watched your
I
tape.
love that.
And so I would say, man, you had the quicks, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Handling the ball well, running the offense. I would say
Yeah.
almost arguably past first point guard. I would say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna drive the lane. You're looking for your big man.
This is great.
But I mean, but you had a good decent 3-point shot, man. So it's like I saw
Yeah.
a couple times you were busting zones and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
So so basketball was a huge part of kind of your story and who you were. I mean, did you want to play like Division 1? You wanted to play in Europe, play the whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah. So my whole dad's side is coaches. My dad was a coach. My uncle's a coach. My grandpa's in the Hall of Fame. So
Wow.
from a young age, since I could literally walk, I was in a gym. Like my dad was coaching and I was at a game like a month being born. So I've always been in a gym and it was the biggest part of my journey, to be honest. And so I've always been undersized, always. I was always the smallest guy. So with that had to come IQ, had to be the
Yep.
smartest player on the
Yep.
floor, and then had to be fast,
Yeah.
and then had to be strong because I'm definitely I'm undersized.
Sure.
Every matchup, I was the smallest guy. So with that being said, can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay. With that being said, I really focused on my quicks and my IQ, and
Yeah.
that helped a lot having the coaches in my family breaking down film at a young age. And yeah, so it was a huge part of my life. And then I ended up getting a scholarship to go play at Oklahoma Wesleyan in
Okay.
Bartlesville.
Yeah.
Ended up injuring my knee in preseason of my freshman year. So never even got to really I didn't get to play a college game because I get healthy to come back and play and we get sent into quarantine. So that's how my
Yep.
music journey starts right there. But the goal was to go to Europe. I didn't have the MBA, wasn't big enough. Go to Europe and then become a teacher and a coach. And that was going to be my life and I was going to be great. But yeah, definitely would say I was pass first. I love to be flashy. I was a
hmm
flashy guy.
Yeah.
And then an underdog. I was just a dog. I
Yeah.
was
You
not,
have to be.
you're not going to play harder than me. And I'm going to be super physical with you. And
Yeah.
because a lot of people thought since I was smaller, like I'm going to bully him.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's I just had the underdog mentality, chip on my shoulder, and it's really led into music a lot. It's kind of crazy how similar they are.
Sure.
And it's really helped me whenever I got into the music spot, not knowing what I was doing, just implementing the basketball side and the discipline factor and showing up and not wanting to lose and being an underdog. Putting that into the music industry, it's helped me a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, I love that. And yeah, because there has to be. I think a competitive. I mean, Nashville's a competitive town, man. I mean,
100%.
and even though, there's a lot of people willing to help you, there is still that level of competition, that mindset, but I got to tell the story because and I don't know
Yeah.
that I've told it before on a podcast, but so my best friend, man, he calls me and he says, well, this is a handful of years ago. He said, hey man, do you want to go to Birmingham with me and like you want to hang out with Mumford and Sons? And I was like, let's go, and because he had opened for them, he'd played, so he knew them well. So he's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go. So we drive down to Birmingham or whatever. And we go, we're back there with all the buses and everything, and we hear this basketball just bouncing. And Marcus is back, and Marcus Mumford's back there just like, he's hooping, right? And so we just decide like, hey, let's play twos, let's run twos real quick. And so dude, I'm guarding it was surreal, dude. I'm guarding Marcus Mumford.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, how is this even my life right now? That like, and dude, and dude, he's physical, man. He's going to give you a body check and
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff. And dude, I remember, the nicest guy you will ever meet, man.
Yeah.
And I remember, like I hit a shot over him, and dude, and I just get on him, and I start talking at him, and I'm like, am I talking trash to Marcus Mumford? And so anyway, man, we ended up going backstage and in the dressing room, and dude, just the nicest human being ever. But I remember how surreal it was that I was talking trash within minutes
That's incredible.
to
Did they
Marcus Mumford.
bring their own goal or was there
They
just a
did, yeah.
goal?
They would bring it with the bus. He would just bring it everywhere they went, and
I'm gonna steal that.
yeah,
Whenever I'm able to get a bus, I am 1,000% doing
yeah.
that.
He would just hoop,
Okay.
yeah,
Like one of
yeah,
the roll around goals that you
yeah.
bring,
It's just the weighted, yeah, kind of like
fill it up with sand or
yeah,
water.
fill it with sand, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay,
Cra-
what a great story too.
Crazy,
But
man, yeah.
I'm gonna steal that
You should
because
take it, yeah,
there's so much dead time. I mean, you have your sound check at 12 probably,
yeah,
and then you're not on stage till 8. So that
yeah,
8 hours, there's a lot you can do. Like
for sure.
you can do good or bad things, and having a goal that is a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow,
Well, dude. Yeah, it was a fun experience for sure. And so,
so cool.
so all that to say, man, I know you've again, you're living in Tulsa. We
Mhm.
talked about that now, but and I'm finding that this is more and more common, man, where artists are going to come, because it used to be you'd come to Nashville, stay in Nashville.
Yeah,
It's a 10-year town. You're going to hang out. You're going to do your thing. But a lot of guys, man, I talked to an artist the other day. He calls South Carolina home, so it's like he kind of twilights.
yep.
And so when did you kind of make that decision? Like, hey, I think that I've made the relationships that I need to want to make, but I want to get back to my roots and I'll kind of come back and forth.
Yeah, great question. I moved to Nashville. I mean, not knowing a soul. I mean, I had my manager was there who I just recently had signed with at the time, and moved there and knew that I never wanted to actually stay there. I wanted to, like you said, get a bunch of connections, figure out how to write. I didn't know I was an athlete. I mean, so I needed to figure out, be a sponge, how to record, how to play live, how to play at dive bars where no one
Yeah,
cares what you're doing. Like I needed that. I didn't have those reps.
sure.
So that's what I did. I moved there in 2022, just moved. So I was there for 3 years. And then my goal was, once I felt like I had a lot of good connections and I had kind of a good circle to write with and stuff and then I wanted to sign a record deal that I could live off of and then move back. And that's what
Hmm.
happened. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
And then I still go out there a week out of the month and
Okay.
just have my manager stack it up for 7 days where
Sure.
we're doubles and writing with new people and going to events and playing live, whatever the case may be. I love Nashville, but Oklahoma is just where I want to be. It's my place. My family's all here. I'm a big family guy. My church is here.
Yeah.
So it's special to me, but I still love Nashville and I get out there. I'm going next week. So
Yeah.
it's a great spot.
Yeah, man, totally. Well, and I think I maybe heard in another interview you did that like just the traffic, right? The traffic's killer, and it used to not be that way.
Uh,
But I mean, with so many transplants that are moving there all the time, and
yeah.
and again, man, talented people are moving, but they're moving from all over the country every day.
Every
And,
day.
and so it's like it's almost got a LA feel to it a little
Yeah.
bit. At this
Yeah.
point, it's a little bit different. It's just different. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
reserve my thoughts, but yeah, it's different. Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
100%. That's kind of because I spent a little bit of time in LA to start writing. And obviously, I think in Nashville, people are nicer and kinder, and you write a different
sure.
way. But the traffic, you're right. It is just there's too many people and not enough not enough room.
Yeah.
So I'm just not a traffic guy. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of more problems in the world. But just as
Sure. Sure.
I grew up in a small town where like the traffic we had, seriously, going to Stidham, there would be cattle that are crossing that's a two-way or a one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're
Totally.
just crossing, and you're not going to run them over. You're not going to
Yeah.
honk at them. You let them go because they're going. They're headed to the field.
Yeah.
And that's like the traffic we had. So obviously that's not the real world, but I had that from a young age. And then, like you said, so many people are moving there.
Yeah.
It's just, I just don't like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm back here and I can head to Sonic right now and probably have no
Yeah.
traffic at any time. So
Yeah.
that's more up my alley.
Totally. Yeah, the chili cheese coney in 5 minutes
You
or
get it.
less. Yeah,
That's
man.
exactly right.
Well, yeah. So, man, let's talk a little bit about the music, man. So, you got a new single, Lasso, man, which is just, it's crazy, man. I mean, like I was looking, I mean, just it's exploded, man. Like I said, over, that I could tell, over 19 million streams, pretty quickly. I mean, like, man, tell me about kind of that whole process, the recording process, the writing process, and tell me maybe kind of why you're excited about it, proud of it.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you. I mean, I didn't even know. That's insane. I was in LA for a trip a few months ago. I mean, maybe half a year. I don't know when it was, but wrote in LA with Jackson Foot and Jim Levine. They have some other great things too. They're so talented. I came in with the melody, had the kind of the idea. I didn't know. I mean, it was kind of just mumbo jumbo, but kind of had the Lasso idea. We're talking about a wild child, wild girl, Southern Belle. But then I bring that in, and I thought it could be really stupid.
Sure.
That's a tip I would give to any like new
Yeah.
songwriters. Like, just say it, and if it gets shut down, that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, who cares? But at least it's out to the world. Anyways, I bring in that, and I mean, we capitalized it in like 30 to 40 minutes, and it kind of wrote itself. And it felt different. It felt really good. And I like I said, I grew up listening to hip hop and country, and that's the lane it felt like. And I was like, this feels like me
Yeah.
to a T. Anyways, yeah, putting it out. Whenever I started teasing it on socials, I saw a really cool response, and I was just
Yeah.
like, okay. And social media can be a trick. Sometimes you can feel like your favorite song of all time, and it could flop on social
Yeah.
media. It's just what
Sure.
it is. Algorithms, whatever the case may be. This one connected really early, and I was like, oh, let's go. This is big. So ended up getting a lot of pre-saves and so whenever you get a lot of those, you're like, okay, people are invested. They're taking the time to click the pre-save. It takes like 10 seconds, and it seems harder than it sounds like to get people to do it. They started doing that once we get it out, and it just started to explode. And I was just like, wow. And then when I knew it was different than any song I'd put out streaming wise was once we got a month in. Usually when you put a song out, it's gonna peak on like the first week. It's just because people are interested and they want to hear it. This one, like a month, like almost, I think it was 2 months in, is like hitting its highest streaming day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I've never seen that. I mean, that's people still care.
Yeah.
And that was what was different for me. And then getting to play it live for, I guess, the last month or two has been different. It's
Yeah.
been really cool. You can see people are knowing it and singing it back, and it's making them feel good, smile, laugh. And that's just what it's all about when you get to concerts for me.
Yeah, man. Totally.
All
Well,
those
and
emotions.
oh, absolutely. And you mentioned kind of that pop element of your music too. Like,
Yeah.
and we talked about how guys like Sam Hunt, like,
Mhm.
I mean, Florida Georgia Line, like there are guys that like, I would imagine traditionalists probably push back on
Sure.
some of that, the guys that are listening to George Strait, George
Sure.
Jones, that kind of thing. And I don't think that the new generation is necessarily trying to disrespect the old ways or the people that came before them or anything like that. But I mean,
Hmm.
when you're kind of again, you're in different lanes. You're kind of doing the pop
Yeah.
thing. You're doing the country thing. I mean, do you focus on one more than the other? Do you feel like, hey, I kind of lean this way or I lean that way? Which foot do you kind of like, having your foot in?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think you make a great point. It's at no way, especially, I mean, from my end, I won't speak for others, but I think they agree. It's not disrespectful at all.
Sure.
I love 90s and 2000, just
Yeah.
down the line country. I love it.
Yeah.
I just had the other interest also
Yeah.
with the hip hop and pop side. And whenever I'm an athlete, I get put into the studio and start recording. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what's coming out of me organically, naturally is all those things. There's
Yeah.
different flavors. So I feel like it's really down the line. I don't really go in like with this is going to be a pop melodic song over a country beat. Kind of just let it organically happen. I like to write melody. I like to have melody first, though.
Okay.
And that kind of, before I even write, I feel, and sometimes that leans more country, and then sometimes that leans more pop, and that can kind of determine how it's going to go. But no, it's a great question. I think your point is so valid, where it's not disrespectful at all, and that's not what it's
Sure.
supposed to be. But it's a different flavor, and I think, like you said, the new generation is kind of, it's with the Morgan Wallens of the world,
Yeah.
and they are all about genre blending and collabing with other artists,
Oh, for
and
sure.
I'm all in on that. And then you know what? My next song on my playlist, I might listen to a genre blend. The next one might be George Strait or someone down the line, Zach Top. I
Yeah.
love it all, and that's just how
Sure.
I've always been. So yeah, I think just making that point that in no way is it disrespectful is so true. It's really there's a lot of inspiration from them, even in the
Sure.
music, even though it's got a different flavor to it.
Sure, totally. Well, and as I was kind of
Yeah.
going through your Spotify playlist, I should say, there's a song on there, man. Boys Don't Cry, right? There's a song.
Mm,
Okay, so here's why I felt like that was different from anything else. I felt like for that song, as best I could tell, it showed off more of your vocal range, I think,
yeah.
than maybe something else that what I'm saying is a little bit more chopped up
Absolutely.
and but the funny thing is, because I want to lean towards something here because it made me think to myself, like, okay, you mentioned, like, well, where the tears go, like if you're a man, like, if I can't cry, like, where do the tears go, kind of thing, right?
Amen.
And so let me ask you this, because like one thing that I'm just big on, man, I'm very fortunate that I've got community, I've got, other men that I can lean into and things like that. But even still, sometimes that has its limitations. As
Sure.
as much as you love them, they love you. They hold you accountable, iron sharpens iron kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even sometimes beyond that, man, I mean, there's an emphasis now on really just taking care of, your well-being, emotionally and that kind of thing. I know that's something that you've kind of spoken to in the past.
Yes.
Like what for you, was there anything that kind of got you to that place or triggered that? Or why are you an advocate for that, for
Oh
mental
yeah.
health?
It's so important. Great question too. Yeah. So my whole upbringing, like just being an athlete, it was not cool to speak up whenever I was going through it. I That's what I thought. I didn't want to tell my teammates. I didn't want to tell my family. They didn't never tell me I could or I couldn't. But like I in my brain, I was the tough jock athlete guy.
Mm,
And what I'm gonna do whenever I'm going through something is just have a vice. Go put
mhm.
shots up. Go play a game. Go play video games. Something like not talk about it.
Right.
When it happened was in quarantine. We get sent into quarantine, and then like I said, I got injured my freshman year and didn't even get to play.
Yeah.
So I pretty much worked 19 years, and it's just like, oh, it's gone. Because I knew we weren't going to play for a while. So I was like, wow. And now I don't have my teammates to lean on, and I don't have my vice, which was going to play basketball and going to play games and going to compete. So now I'm in my bedroom alone, feeling so much anxiety and so much depression. Uh, where do the tears go?
Yeah.
Like they got to come out.
Yeah.
And I found that out, and I started speaking up, and how it made me feel was so special. And how I started was writing music was the way for me to get it out,
Hmm.
because it was like I'm not having to physically speak it to someone. I can just write it and then sing it.
Yeah.
And what changed it all is whenever I had a song get traction about mental health and I saw it affecting other people in a positive way. Like
Mm.
this song is saving my life. This song made my
Wow.
day. This song,
Yeah.
this, that was when I'm like, oh, this is more than music,
Yeah.
this is a message.
Yeah.
And that's when I became a massive advocate. And I play that song at every show. And it's a moment, a lot of my set is up and party and vibes and
Sure.
happy. That one, it needs to come down for good reason. And the reason I like that you said it brings out my vocal is that's how I grew up in the church. I went to a church where it was a vocal and a piano.
Yeah.
And that's what that song felt like whenever we were recording it. It felt like I was back in church. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
it's I'm such an advocate for it, and I just come from a spot of where I used to not do it, and I found myself getting in a darker place. And then when I started speaking up and started singing about it and started replying and telling people and helping people through my music, I was like, this is a no brainer. This is
Yeah.
so important. And I figured out that I'm not alone. and I'm
Yeah,
not the only one
that's
that's
true.
going through it. I used to think that. I'm like, no one's going to care because they're not going through it. Not true.
Yeah.
And that, so it just changed my whole direction, my whole brain about how mental health, how important it is. That's what it was.
No, I love that, man. No,
Yeah.
and like you said, it can become a message. It can become, something that
Yeah.
has substance and man, just even right now, I'm seeing you drinking from your jug. I wish I had
It's
a jug.
still in me.
I wish I had a jug with me right now.
It's still in
Feeling
me.
parched. But no, man. So you've got some big things coming up, and again, like I said, millions of streams, man. Not just with Lasso. You got millions of streams right now. Things are picking up for you, man, and they're trending in the right direction. I know that I won't keep you, but I know that man,
You're good.
you've got tours coming up or a tour coming up. It looks like you're going to go to Michigan, man. You've got some Florida dates coming up. You're going to
Yeah.
go, you're going to go Canada. I mean, like all over
Yeah.
kind of, but man, so, I mean, again, you're a music fan, dude, you're going on tour with Uncle Kracker.
Ah, man.
Like, how does that hit you?
Huge. Whenever I saw that opportunity in Michigan, I was like, "Oh, that's a no-brainer." I grew up listening to him,
Yeah.
so I am so excited for that. We have a show with Connor Smith, which I'm excited. I've met
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and heard he's very talented, and then a lot with Cooper Allen, which I've played one show for him. He's a good dude. Good songs, and like his crowd is rowdy, and like they're there to party, and so the vibes are going to be great. Get to go back to Canada. I went to Toronto for one show, loved it. It was incredible. And then had to leave. I think we spent 12 hours there and had to leave.
Mm.
So the fact that I get to kind of see it this time and drive through it and see a different spots, I'm so excited for. And yeah, and then we just confirmed like first time saying it, Oklahoma shows,
Yeah.
uh, which will be like Tulsa, September 25th. I've never played a hometown show.
Really.
And so I've been on a couple of tours the past 3 years with like David Morris, and then had my own headline, and none of them were in Tulsa. So my Tulsa people were like, "This dude forgot about us. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
the case. There's a big reason why it's there, and I'm gonna be announcing that on socials later in August. But so I'm super excited for that, and then Oklahoma City the next weekend, and I played only an acoustic show there like 2 years ago. So this one's gonna be full band. I'm excited to get to my Oklahoma people and just bring it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man. Well, as you continue to grow, and obviously, man, the hope is that you'll be, headlining and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And I know it's kind of uncool, man, to like mention like, hey, man, this guy, it would be a dream to open up for this guy or that
yeah.
girl, or like if you had somebody that's like, man, it's game over if I could get on a tour, hop on a tour with this person. Again, I know it's uncool sometimes
No,
because
no.
who are maybe your Mount Rushmore people you'd like to hop on with?
Mount Rushmore's. I know what came to mind first was Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
Sam Hunt is
Yep.
on there. Grew up listening to him. Kane Brown would be on there. Let's see. With that, what else? I think those are the first three that come to mind. It could be cool to trying to think what else would make sense with my type of music. Tyler Hubbard would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, just the crowd that accepts kind of all forms of the music. I think would really go well. But I'd also be down to open for more of the red dirt vibe, the
Yeah.
Wyatt Flores Oklahoma vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zach Bryan would be cool. I'm a little versatile, I'd like to say, so I can fix the set however it needs to
Sure.
be.
Sure.
So that's probably the main ones though. I feel like would make the most sense and would be a dream.
Yeah, man. Well, again, you've got some great dates coming up, man, and obviously, like I said, you're trending in the right direction. I'll say for anybody listening, if you want to check out, Jake's tour, you can check it out at jakebanfieldmusic.com. He's all over socials. He's a monster on TikTok. Jake, man, you've been incredible, man. Thanks so much for just sharing
Thank
the time
you.
with me. Thanks for jumping on hitting the road, dude. We're wanting the best, hoping the best for you moving forward, dude. And if you need anything, let us know.
Thank you so much for having me.
All
That
right,
that
you
means
bet,
a lot.
brother. All right, brother.
Thank
Thanks, man. We'll see you
you.
soon.